What are a few resources that navigators can connect farmers to?
I think that, starting with some questions about where people are at, we can help maybe guide them to the appropriate service providers or types of service providers that would make sense for them to engage with at whatever point in the process they're in. And so whether that's an appraiser, or an attorney or an accountant or some of these really kind of standard service providers that a lot of succession planning is going to involve. So that's those are some of the resources. We also um, need to kind of get the word out about farm and ranch transition support grants that can help farm families with this this succession planning expenses that currently these grants are available. We don't know exactly how long this pool of funding is going to be available to help with transition uh, projects with farmland succession planning. But right now, there's opportunity for families to work with a navigator to apply for $10,000 grants to help cover the costs of working with attorneys or working with financial planners or um, even getting creative in maybe there's some equipment that needs to be repaired in order to successfully transition a property from one generation to the next, or maybe there's some type of um, other. I mean, in our case, what I've been thinking about most recently is we have in our organization over 300 conservation easements, and many of those are farmland easements, and some of those might have violations that need to be um, resolved, and resolving that violation might be essential to transitioning the farmland or selling it to a new farmer. And so there's all different types of creative ways that people might think about using these grants to help with this, get over some type of financial hurdle with their farmland transitions. So that's something that that's a resource that a lot of people might not be thinking of, but
Mhm.
is currently available and something that navigators can help connect farmers to.
Yeah, and if possible, let's try to put some of those grant resources in the program description
Mm-hmm.
below so that others can refer to them. Otherwise, talk to your local land transfer navigator. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good point to make as well about sometimes the holdup could be just a little bit of money to go towards that farm transition, especially when you're talking about conservation easements. All right, Becky Huttinga, what resources can navigators connect farmers to?
Hopefully any of the ones that they need to the best of their ability. That, again, like I said, the goal is for us to make those private sector partnerships, and not always private sector, it can be academia. Michigan State University Extension has at least four farm business management educators that are well versed in succession planning and transfer, and they're a great resource. But also private sector, as Will mentioned, connecting with attorneys. Some are well known for working with farmers and in estate planning transfer, and there's some out there that do it, and a lot of people don't know about it. And I've been able to connect with a few of those in my area, and it's a mutually beneficial partnership. They want to help farmers, and this is a connection to the farm community, and the farmers are looking for great options, someone they're comfortable with, and so it can offer a number of different attorneys they can connect with, because you need to be comfortable with your team.
Mhm.
Accountants also, the accounting space is tricky right now because I know that a lot of folks are struggling to hire and have capacity. So a lot of these good agricultural accounting firms are not taking on new clients. So that's a challenge. we can provide them with property appraisals. And another kind of gap, though, is business valuation for farms. There's a value on that client list on what you do and the kind of the brand that you've built. That's a tougher one. That's a nut we're trying to crack, and how we can help them with the proper business valuation. Because there's in the way that we market things today, oftentimes that's a huge piece of it. But there's in-person professional resources, there's guidebooks we can provide. Everybody learns and functions differently. We can send them to a session where they can sit and interact with an attorney and learn. We can give them a guidebook, and they can kind of step through it by themselves with their family, or whatever works well for them. Or maybe it's a webinar that they can sit and watch in the comfort of their own home, from an educational resource standpoint. And then, where we can connect them with grants, like Will said, the Brighter Futures Transition Grant is available to easement owners. We don't know how long that'll be there, but take advantage of it while you can. And actually, formally, the Land Transfer Navigator program will be winding down at the end of 2027. So it's our hope that we can, as that winds down, stand up all the things that we've learned and gained during those 4 years in a process here in the state of Michigan that will continue to serve our farmers. It won't be under this partnership with AFT and NRCS, but hopefully it will still be there, and we can still call it with its brand name recognition of Land Transfer Navigator. And, we can all come together as statewide practitioners and make it as painless as possible for farmers to get that succession planning and transfer plan in place, because that is the one thing that every farmer is in control of. And there's so many things that farmers are not in control of in their operations. There's a lot of things that are external factors. This is an internal factor, and everyone that has a farm can choose to make a plan for it. And the more that do that, the more acres of farmland we can protect from conversion to another use. And that's the ultimate goal.